football fans, and welcome to the Touchdown Lady podcast. We talk football from a fan's point of view. I'm Cindy, your host. Let's just get into it. Now we're going to start off week 10 with fans' rants and frustration for week 10 of the NFL regular season. And we're going to start with the old offensive lines being inconsistent with their playing and play calling. Their performance is just bad for the offensive lines of some of these teams. Next is going to be team performance, meaning that team as a whole, we are just not happy with the way they're performing on the field. It still continues. The next is disappointing in primetime games. I can agree with that as a fan. Yeah, it's some of these matchups, yeah, I don't know where they got them from, but we're not happy about some of these primetime games. But there are certain fans that are upset about certain teams, and we're going to get into those. And we're going to start with the Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars, yes. The fans are not happy because they lost a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Texans. Yes, the Jaguars were unable to close out the game over the Texans, and the Texans wound up winning this one 36-29 over the Jaguars. Those fans are heated. Next is some fans are talking about Thursday Night Football. They are very disappointed. The games are sluggish. The matchups have just been bad. Even though the Broncos won 18-15 over the Raiders, Bo Nix was booed. The fans are upset with the Broncos. Low-scoring games. They're just not happy right now with what's going out there. Like I said, the games on Thursday night, yeah. The next are the Giants. Giants fans are upset because the Giants could have won this game over the Bears, but I guess in the fourth quarter, the Giants allowed Caleb Williams, the defense allowed Caleb Williams to run in for a touchdown, and that was all she wrote in that game. So the the New York Giants are not happy with what happened with the defense allowing Caleb Williams to score a touchdown to win the game. The next is going to be the Falcons fans. They lost to the Colts. The Colts wound up beating them 24-20. The Falcons fans are frustrated with the horrible offensive line playing. They couldn't convert on third downs. So there's a lot going on with the Falcons. Even when they played the Patriots last week, they struggled a lot in that game. It was some calling that was really questionable, plays that they did on the field. So the fans, it continued with the Falcon fans. They are not happy about that. A lot of work the Falcons got to clean up. The next one's a big one for me, and that is going to be the Miami Dolphins beat the Bills 30-13. I am upset. I'm a Bills fan, and I'm frustrated with the way the Bills are playing. Yes, I'm frustrated with inconsistencies on the offensive line. They're struggling on offense and defense. They're not establishing a run game. They're getting a slow start. They're not controlling the game. But remember, this stuff was going on way back in 2023 season, around this time in November, and they turned it around when Joe Brady started doing the play calling in December, and they wound up winning 5 games straight. So hopefully this week, week 10, the Bills will be able to turn it around and start back winning, because I do have them for the Super Bowl all the way, but I'm getting a little nervous. It's still some football up, but I'm getting a little nervous on them. So, yeah, that's my frustration as a Bills fan. Last but not least, the fans, yes, we are still upset and frustrated with the referees. Now, there's been a lot of questionable and pass interference calls as well as holding calls in these games that the refs are calling. So inconsistencies like that, when some fans are still like me are saying some calls you could let go or someone wasn't being caught. There's a lot going on with that with the play calling. With the referees with some of these penalties. So we're still frustrated about that. Now let's get into the games that I watched over the weekend, and we're going to start off with the Patriots versus the Buccaneers. Now, this was a good game for the Patriots. They did really well on offense and defense. It wasn't a perfect game for Drake May, so as well as for the Patriots. They played okay, but they did a good job, enough to beat the Buccaneers. The Patriots wound up winning this one 28-23, but the Buccaneers, I feel, had a chance to win this game. They was never really dominated by the Patriots in this game. They was always still in this game all the way to the end. They could have won this game. I don't know what happened with the Bucs. I don't know. But Drake May had 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in this game. As a whole, the Patriots had 435 yards, 1 sack, 49 yards, and penalties. On the other side, Baker Mayfield had 273 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game. Now, in this game, I would say that Baker Mayfield, at some times during certain points during the game, I felt that he held onto the ball too long. So that was some of my issue with him in this game, is that he held the ball too long in some plays. So as a team, the Buccaneers had 371 yards, 2 sacks, and 40 yards in penalties. Like I said, for the Bucs, inconsistency on offense and defense in this game, but they did have a couple opportunities in this game to win this game over the Patriots. The next is going to be the Chargers and the Steelers. Now, the Chargers, I like the way they played this game. Justin Herbert looked really good in this game. The offense was good. The defense was good for the Chargers in this game. The Chargers wound up beating the Steelers 25-10. Justin Herbert had 220 yards and 1 touchdown in this game. As a whole, the Chargers had 314 yards, 5 sacks, and 55 yards and penalties. Like I said, they did a good job in this game against the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers had 161 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions in this game. As a whole, the Steelers had 221 yards, 3 sacks, 1 fumble, and 29 yards in penalty. Inconsistent in this game as well for the Steelers on offense and defense. They just struggled in this game against the Chargers. Now, I want to talk about the Browns for a little bit. Now, they played the Jets. Now, both these teams are bad. Yes, both these teams are bad. Both these quarterbacks is not that good. But I did have hopes for Justin Fields. When he played for the Steelers last year, I thought he did a pretty good job playing for the Steelers. But since he's been with the Jets, it's just been bad. It's just been bad. I don't know if the play calling for him. I thought by him going to the Jets, he would be able to turn around his career as a starting quarterback. But that's not happening so far in this game. Like I said, the Jets come in this game at 1-7. The Browns was 2-7 going in this game against each other. Somebody had to win this game, and the Jets wound up winning this game 27-20 over the Browns. Kevin Stefanski, he did not call the plays in this game. He turned that over to offensive coordinator, which was Tommy Rees, who called the plays in this game. Dylan Gabriel had 167 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. As a team, they had 278 yards, 6 sacks, and 78 yards in penalties. The Jets, Justin Fields had 54 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception in this game. As a team, Jets had 169 yards, 3 sacks, and 61 yards in penalty. But I will say this about the Browns. Now, the trade deadline was November 4th. I do not understand why they did not trade Shedeur. They're not going to play him. Kevin Stefanski said he's already going to stick with Dylan, and he's not going to play Shedeur. That was the Browns' opportunity to trade him on November 4th. So I don't understand why they're still holding on to him and they're not going to play him. I don't know. I wish he would just go on to a new team, a better team than the Browns. But that's what's going on there. I just had Browns fans let me know. I've been following the Browns in the Shedeur situation. I haven't been talking about it, but let me know in the comments, Browns fans, how you feeling about what's going on with the Browns and their quarterback situation. I also want to talk about Dan Campbell. He actually did the play calling in this game over the weekend as he played against the Commanders. The Lions wound up beating the Commanders 44-22 in this game. The next game I want to talk about is the Rams and the 49ers. This was a good game. I felt that both teams played a good in this game. The 49ers, even though they lost, because the Rams wound up beating them down 44-22 over the 49ers. But I thought Mac Jones and the 49ers played a decent game. They really did. I thought they played well in this game on offense and defense, but the Rams was just too much for them in this game. Matthew Stafford, him and the Rams just came in there, and they just pretty much just dominated over them. Matthew Stafford had 280 yards, 4 touchdowns in this game. As a whole, the team had 401 yards, 1 sack in this game. Like I said, offense and defense for the Rams, everything was going their way in this game, and they looked really good. The 49ers, Mac Jones, he had 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception in this game. Like I said, I felt that he played a really good game. He had some nice passes that he got out. So they did some really some nice things in this game against the Rams. As a team, they had 393 yards, no sacks, 45 yards, and penalties. Like I said, for the 49ers, I think they played well on offense and defense in this game against the Rams. But like I said, the Rams was just too well prepared, and they just came in there from the start of this game and just dominated over the 49ers. Well, let's get into surprise wins of the week. These are teams that I didn't think was going to win, and they wound up winning in week 10. And we're going to start off with, you guessed it, the Miami Dolphins versus the Bills. Again, Miami Dolphins beat the Bills 30-13. Bills, come on, Bills, get it together. The next was going to be the Saints beat the Panthers 17-7. Now, I really thought the Panthers was going to beat the Saints. The Saints, yeah, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. And the way the Panthers been playing, I really thought they was going to come up with this win, and they wound up losing to the Saints. Well, Monday Night Football is going to wrap up Week 10, and that's going to be the Eagles versus Green Bay. And Thursday Night Football, which is going to start Week 11, is going to be the Patriots versus the Jets. This is going to be a divisional game between these two teams. Right now, the Patriots are sitting at the top of the AFC East Division in the first position. So that will be this Thursday night between the Jets and the Patriots. Well, I want to do the shout-out of the team. Team shout-out of the week is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold. They are sitting in the first position in the NFC West Division in the first position. Behind them is the Rams, so it's a really tight race right now. But right now, the Seattle Seahawks is leading in that division as the top team. Everyone thought that Sam Darnold was going to go back to his old ways once he got traded from the Vikings. Now, remember, he had a hell of a year last year for the Vikings. He has continued that for the Seattle Seahawks, and they are sitting, like I said, at 7-2 right now. So shout out to the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold. Well, this is a part of the show. If you want to reach out to me, you can email me at touchdownladies@gmail.com. That's touchdownladies@gmail.com. Well, I like to end the show on a positive note, and I do something I call Facts, Fun, and Football, where I reach in here, and I get something fun to end the show on. Let's see what we're going to get. And this is going to be a joke. Why can't football players wear glasses on the field? Because football is a contact sport. And this is Sandy from the Touchdown Ladies saying, don't forget to smile, be happy, be kind, put your action behind your plan, and keep moving forward. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.